Get access to exclusive videos never released to the YouTube public by joining Patreon or becoming a channel member. What's going on? It has been really hot here, like record-breaking heats. It's not supposed to be this hot until next month. I was supposed to have somewhat of an okay month here, get the majority of it done, so next month when it's like gonna kill us all, I'll be gone down to South Carolina. By the way, we're gonna have a pretty huge event, I think, in Charleston, South Carolina on the 10th, which is a Saturday. Big John boat thing. If you guys are down, you should come. We'll be down there, we'll be filming, we'll be there with the crew, and we're gonna be doing some cool things. I'll also be down there in the East Coast, down in Georgia, for quite a bit, like somewhere around 2 weeks. So we'll see how that's all gonna play out. But I'll be down there for a minute. Got a lot of remarks and questions about the pour foam. A lot of people want answers on what happened with it, what the reason it was for why it was boiling and not expanding. People from Total Boat actually saw that video and like messaged me and said this are the list of reasons that it probably could have happened. And after reviewing it, you know, they said these are the reasons it probably happened. We would also like to send you, you know, some extra stuff, you know, for your time because we want to see your project succeed. So they pretty much, after now analyzing it all, what it was likely probably my fault, at least on some level. For mainly, I think because the first kit I had used before and then stored it, and the first time I used it, it did work. And it was only until like way later, when who knows how long it was in there, for a long time. Since, I mean, there's a long time since before when I had to use pour foam for anything. I think maybe it was for my boat, and my boat has been done for a long time. Shit, maybe it was even the Lund. Who knows? But it's been out there for a while. Subsequently, it has also been very hot in my garage, like obscenely hot. As an end result, when I go back to use that foam, which it was an open container, you know, that it was sealed, it was resealed and reused, but it was, you know, I used it and then all of a sudden it was boiling and not expanding and just doing all these weird things. And then the second batch I got was also doing it and actually even worse. It was boiling worse and not even expanding near as good. I mean, they both weren't expanding good, but the brand new kit I had was worse off than the other one. And so you would think it might have just been a botched kit, botched samples, something, but the first kit did work at one point in time. So it was either prolonged storage, or it was the heat, or it was a combination of both, but likely if it was the heat, then it was 100% my fault. If it was prolonged storage, then it was at least partially my fault. You know, the first kit, I only had that for a week or two, as it was stored into my garage, but it was obscenely hot in my garage. So hot that like the bare metal is hot to the touch. Like, not like scalding, burning your hand touch, but it is hot. Like you touch a can of spray paint, it's hot. Like you're like, ow, is it really even good that it's this hot? Is it gonna explode? You gotta wonder about that. Like, took all my lithium batteries out of my garage. Took anything that's like possibly, you know, susceptible to like mass heat, bloating, etc. You know, I actually had a friend of mine, a fellow filmmaker down the aisle. He has his own studio down here. He said he was using a drone, and it was so hot that the battery swelled and popped out of his drone, and his drone crashed. So if you get pour foam during the summer, keep it in your house, and then use it. Like, don't get it until you're about to use it. So essentially, we can at least weed that out. We can weed storage concerns and, you know, temperature concerns. But I will be doing both of those things with any new batch. This boat is taking a really long time. When it's this hot, I swear it takes me a week to get a day's worth of work done. I go out there for like 2 hours and I gotta leave because I'm dying of sweat, and I just feel like I had worked a 10-hour day and it's only been out there for a little bit. So I really can only work at night when everybody's asleep and when it's, you know, the sun's not scalding on the whole house, and then it's kind of time to kind of cool off, and just a pretty big ordeal. But I'm going to try and get it to you as fast as possible. My whole goal is to get the deck on and everything done, at least the deck on, before I leave to Georgia. That way, because I'm going to actually send out for a custom, you know, turf kit. And I mean, I got an opportunity to actually get one for the boat, and it's the stuff that we sell on our site, the Orthodeck, and so we were trying to work with them a little bit more to promote some more stuff, and they're actually going to let us do this. So I'm pretty excited about that, getting a custom kit turf for this boat. It's pretty dope. But this is what I got for you in the meanwhile. Sorry, it's not a whole lot. It's freaking hot out there, but I do have this. We have some progress, so stay tuned. Check it out. The pour foam fiasco is really lame. We're gonna get it past it, but man, it left a sour taste in my mouth. I had to take a break for a minute and just go do other things. But we're back to it. This is one of the last few things I gotta do. It's just the bottom end. It's taken a long time, but the more I do it, you know, the more sure I was. I mean, I made a lot of these mistakes, some pretty devastating mistakes, I think, just because I was just over cocky. I gotta just kind of maybe scale it back and just take my time. Because I got nobody else to blame this time. I can't blame it on anybody else if this boat build doesn't come out the way it's supposed to come out. So let's finish this. A lot of EVA foam is simply nowhere to be found. Just makes you appreciate how good we had it before all this stuff happened. And I was just so lucky and fortunate enough to run upon like just a slight batch of blacktip foam. There was like a few left. I had been looking for it, and then randomly I searched for it on Amazon and it was just there. And so I grabbed it and it was able to help me kind of finish this interior. We're doing the EVA foam interior because it's just easier to use. You just got to cut it into squares perfectly symmetrical to whatever you got in there, and it just lines right up and puts right in there. The camo stuff itself, you can cut that thing into a bunch of zigzag puzzle lines and stick it together, and you'd never know that you did that. It actually fits together quite flawlessly. I actually have 3 sheets in here that are spanning over a year and a half of actual use, and they all just measure up right together. The pour foam thing has gotten pretty kind of sour. I think Marine Matt bought out HydroTurf somewhere along the line. Somebody bought out somebody, but when that happened, things got pretty screwed up for everybody. And now, like, a lot of stuff that used to be drop shipped is no longer available to the general public. So whatever you can get is whatever you can get. But I will tell you, this looks pretty darn nice. Pretty happy to apply it. Just use some alcohol to get that stuff going and make your lines, trace your pads, cut it out, stick it in there, rivet it all to the angle, and that's just how the whole thing goes. So all the compartments in here are aluminum. There are no plastic totes for the first time ever in like 20 boats. We can now do this. The next thing I have to tackle is the back of the rod lockers. I was just struggling because the holes back there in normal, like in a small locker, just having the holes for the rod butts to slide into, it's just miserable cramming all those rods together. And a patron in our pro staff like shared his idea with us. I love that chat where they like collaborate. You got these guys that are pretty high functioning, pretty smart, just in there just to collab and share ideas, and they came up with this genius idea. Why have holes at all? Just make giant slits all the way through, and then your rod backs can just like slide up and down. You can move them around, so you got the oblong rails jamming everything up. You can move stuff around and adjust it that we can fit them all in there. It's like genius. Why didn't I think of that? So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Thank you, sir, for giving me the idea. I'm really bad with names, but you know who you are. The next thing we'll be doing is using this door edging. I don't know exactly what it's called. I'll put a link in the description area because I forget what it's called. But Nate actually turned me onto this stuff, and I finally found a use for it. It's definitely need that around that thin aluminum, or it would just really chop our rods up. Let's test it out. See what it goes. See what it does. So it's been a pretty big blast so far. I just gotta move on it a little faster, and that's about it. you have this play for oblong stuff. It's always hard to get spinning reels in here, and like they work well with putting them together with bait casters in an oblong setting, so we might have that versatility with this big spread here. You see these are a little bit gappy here. The other poles that I'm really going to stick in here, my swim bait rods are thicker at the end than these, so they'll fill this up a little bit better, but even then I could probably attach some sort of elastic bungee over to even give them a little bit more of an edge that way. We could do a few things here to kind of even tighten that up more, and we probably will. The other side's going to be a little bit more complicated because of what's all going in there, but that's really for the smaller rods like this. Alright, there it is. Fairly turfed up. The front I didn't turf because we have to do some funny thing. And then I got Total Boat sent me some pour foam to kind of readdress the pour foam issue. So I got to figure out what I got to do here. Whether I'm going to yank all that foam out, because I honestly didn't expect to getting some so soon. So I might yank all that foam I cut out, or I might leave it in just to show you guys the hat trick. But it's probably better if I take it out, the stuff that will come out. Back here, I contemplating taking that out also, but I'm also not. I definitely can seal and actually finish what I was doing with the new stuff. I'll definitely be able to do that now that I got nice new fresh stuff. It doesn't come from Amazon. We don't know how long it's been sitting, wherever it's sitting. We can clean up the back. We can start stuff here. We got this. The bigger thing though was these rod holder designs in the back. I thought those were pretty epic. That was from a patron of mine again. Thank you for the pro staff and the diehard patron chat for sharing your ideas and allowing that to come into fruition here with this boat. The turf compartments look sick. I'm not gonna lie. I really dig them. I mean, it's gonna look even better once I get up in there. Right now, we're kind of prepping the surface. I had to seal all the edges. If you don't seal the edges in the Gen X or the Gen 7 kits around the dry hatch slip, you know, that's a pretty big problem. So that's just something you're gonna have to do. This stuff definitely would just fit right on there. It fit like a glove. It's like it was made to go on there, this stuff. So I'll probably be ordering a lot more of that. It's just probably gonna really look good. Once we black out the frame with the gator skin soft touch, it's gonna look super awesome. And then we're gonna deck edge it there. It'll all be sealed, it'll all be ready. This will all be, the front I'm making it a little bit more robust, because the front, we're gonna be spending most of our time here on the front. And so the front's gonna have a little bit more going on here with some tougher hatches, because I'll be standing up here most of the time and then running down here momentarily, or down the side, which I'll obviously be trying to avoid the side with this super low displacement and the skinniness of the boat. But all right, so some of you have asked, like I'm killing you here. Is it gonna be stable? Is it not gonna be stable? Well, truth be told, I have done a 1236 before. It was just one of my first boats, and it was very controversial. And then I eventually kind of refined my design to the point where having that video out there for the general public was kind of useless and, you know, almost labeled as misinformation. But I'll show it to you guys again, because I had the videos hidden because of just the serious flame wars people waged against me on it. But I think I might show you again just how that went, so you guys can just see what the same size hull and obviously less sophisticated build will look like. And it's actually I'm kind of getting excited. I'm gonna download it and chop it up and throw it out there, and you guys can like judge for yourself what we got going on versus this one. I think that'll be a very cool comparison. So I'll definitely probably be launching that video maybe Friday or Saturday. Like definitely, if not late this week, early next week, we'll be launching that video, and then we will be moving on to the deck, and then we'll be doing very cool things before that. And then I might have to hurt the transom off my boat to fit a new motor. The list goes on, and it's piss hot out here. Yeah, I'm sweating right before your very eyes. I'm sorry if the video looks like it's really bad out here.